Hello. Uh, so we're starting a new day here in the shop, and a new project has arrived. I got this hair going on. I wore a hat yesterday to work. It was I don't know. It was close to freezing last night when I left for work. So, anywho, so we're gonna start the new project here. And as stated, if I remember correctly in the last video, I kind of just want to burn through this one as quickly as possible. I actually already have probably, I don't know, a solid 95% of the parts for it. Just, it'll be random nuts and bolts that I'll have to buy. I still have yet to get a gasket kit for the engine that I'm going to use. I will probably need... I don't necessarily know if I'll need one, but I do intend on doing some inspection of the engine just to make sure everything's where it's supposed to be, I guess. And if I remember correctly, it already had an oil leak coming from somewheres. So, new gasket kit is probably in order for that. But now, as far as the bike itself goes, I guess we will start out with just a full teardown. I'll go completely down the frame. That way I can go through and inspect all of the frame and make sure that there aren't any like cracks or anything like that in it. That'll also allow me the opportunity to do any kind of touch-up painting on that. The forks need to be cleaned. There's relatively good amount of corrosion on them. I'm not polishing any of this chrome back to chrome, but I will clean it up, you know. So, and all of this stuff has to come off. This is a bracket in order to fit the new tank that I have. That's got to come off, so I'll need to do some grinding and painting there. The fake muffler is coming off. And then, of course, engine and the real muffler, or the actual muffler. There's some work to be done on the kickstand. When I got it, it looks like somebody had put her down in the dirt, because it was, instead of having a kickstand sort of angle on it, it had more of just like a flat bar that stuck out to the side. And then plus there's no tension spring or anything on it, so it doesn't stay up. It just kind of dangles there. So that'll need some work. The foot pegs are going to get cleaned with the rest of the metal, but then I will put some grip tape on it just to kind of help you out a little bit there. Rims are getting painted because I can't stand the way they look right now, especially this front rim. I don't know, listen, if you like that design and you think it looks neat, you know, you're welcome to your opinion, I guess. To me, that is, I mean, it's goofy looking, at the very least. It's ugly, in my opinion, but I'm going to keep them. You know, there's nothing wrong with it as far as I can tell, so I'm just going to clean it and paint it black. Hopefully that'll help it out. Yeah, engine off, plastic off. Go through the wiring. I mean, that's a rundown of the thing, and once I get all that done, it'll just be reassembly, putting all the new parts on. And so I think just for the time that I got today, it's gonna be tear down. See how far I can get. It's a pretty good sized tree limb fell down across the street. Anyway, I'm not gonna remind you that it's getting colder. So yesterday and today, there were some, I won't say big things. I'll say there were some medium-sized things that went on at Doc Holiday HQ, I guess. We got new, hopefully way better internet. The video before this one will The internet's connected right now, and at time of recording, there's going to be a video before this one. I'll digress. And then solar panels. So, here we are. I'm going to. Sorry about that. So before the solar panel dudes get here, I want to show you a little bit of progress of what I got on the little mini bike, the mini chopper. So you can see here, you guys feel like that's way too much tank for a mini bike? I can't make up my mind. So it's been a couple days at this point since I very abruptly just kind of shut you down the other day. As you can see, there is a drastic difference. I've gone through and cut off a bunch of stuff down here, cut off and ground a bunch of stuff over there. You can see just there. On the other side, I had some rust or something. There's a hole that I'm gonna have to patch now. Everything got stripped off of it. I cut a bunch of stuff that was going on in there, and I just kind of been out here sitting today looking at it. I really can't I mean, I like the way that looks as it sits now. I'm not making it like a cafe racer or nothing. It's still going to be a little chopper. I don't know. We'll have to see. I got new headset bearings and stuff like that to get put in, and I can actually just put the forks back on and get a more complete look, see how I feel about it. But it's all got to get stripped back off because there's painting and some welding work and stuff. I got to weld on a engine plate because this is now, there's nothing there anymore, and that's not big enough to hold the engine, and then plus I still have to cut that stuff off. I'm contemplating just cutting that whole thing out, but then I'll lose that little bit that goes up there. That's what the fender attaches to, I'm pretty sure. But today, what's going to happen before I go to work is I'm going to go through all this and get it straightened out, get it sorted, and figure out what is scrap and what I'm not doing, what I'm working with, what I'm not working with. There's the new tail light, by the way, and then even the tires and the rims will need to get stripped down a little bit more because I'm gonna paint them. So I believe I got my work cut out for me today. I cleaned up the bench, by the way. Feel pretty good about that. That I started with the fender, and because I already had the brake light out. If the brake light was still tucked in the box, I probably would have started with something else. But just because it was there looking at me, stripped that down. There wasn't really much. It was just one little bracket with the light on it. Super easy, and then pulled the wires out. This will get scrubbed with some scratchy pads. I think I have some super fine stuff. I mean, I don't know. I was thinking about going through and making all the chrome, not chrome, but like a brushed kind of look, just because that'd be I could clean all the rust off of it, but then I don't have to polish it back to chrome, and I'm happy about that. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. But I had to remake one of these brackets. This is the bracket that was the lights it attaches to, and this is roughly about the right size or whatever. But the holes need to be further apart. Right, they need to be about right like that is where the holes need to be. So I just did up a program, extended those things, cut it out. I'm getting ready to drill the holes, and fit the light on. We're on overtime at work, so I don't necessarily have a whole bunch of time. We'll see what I can get done, I suppose. In a short little bit of time later, we've made some progress. I think I have the frame down now to where I can start sort of doing my improvements and actually building onto it rather than taking off. I do have some spots to tidy up, unfortunately. Over here on this side, you can see, I think I'd already pointed one of these out, but you can see there, we had a rust spot, and then here, all of that garbage was me trying to cut the engine plate off. Unfortunately, it was necessary with that engine plate that was on there. I couldn't really get in there to just cut the stuff that was on top of it off, so I had to chop the whole thing out. It's cool though. I was gonna have to sort of extend the engine plate this way a bit anyhow, because the engine that I'm putting in there is bigger. So no biggie. We'll just weld those in, grind them down, then it'll be ready for paint. I would like to straighten this out a little bit more, but I'm not super focused on that right now at the moment. Other than that, it'll just be sanding, paint, and I'm not, it's going to be a black frame, satin black, so it'll look, really it'll look just the way it looks now, I don't necessarily think I have to add any kind of more supports or anything like that. Pretty sure it'll be fine. In other news, I have also been working on all of the chrome stuff. It's all scratched down to like a brushed finish. I still got some like close spots that I need to hit manually or whatever with my fingies, but we're moving along. I did want to do a little display, so I got stuff set out here. This is the stuff that I'm working on today, like right now. I got the rear fender completely scratched down, and I got the rear light license plate set up. This, other than, I have to take the license plate off and paint it, but other than that, that's done. So we can kind of set that aside. I'll take the license plate in, get it going. This is going to be the headlight for it. It's so many thousands of lumens fog light off-road thing. I have to chop this section of it off in order to fit in the housing that I got there for it. Just like, I believe I did kind of like the exact same thing for Dohc, the headlight on Dohc. So that'll be treading old ground, so to speak. And then I had to get a new speedometer. I don't know if I covered it yet or not, but in case I haven't, the original speedometer that was on there would have been cool to use, would have been neat to use or whatever, but there was no spot for a cable to go in, so I think it might have ran off of like the little coil rectifier and like read your voltage being cycled through the system to kind of give you a speed. I don't know though. Don't quote me on that. That could just be me pulling stuff out of my ass. The work that's still yet to do on this is I'm just gonna cut these little ears off, and then I don't necessarily have to, but I was thinking about sort of cleaning this little nub up a little bit, but I don't know. It might stay. It doesn't matter. Debating on whether or not to paint that. I don't know. We'll see how I feel when I feel. And yeah, this is just stuff I'm gonna be tinkering on today. We'll see what we can get done. Alright, we're back out in the shop for another glorious day. I, of course, have made it to a point in things. Otherwise, I would just be doing the work and not talking to you. But, so I got the brake cables and throttle and stuff like that pulled out here. I've been sort of tinkering with them a little bit. I think I have them all set up. There is one thing though. So when the I guess I've decided to get new handlebars. I wasn't going to at first, but then I found a set of bars on Amazon that I was like, man, I think those would be pretty cool on there. So I bought them. They were cheap enough. I am going to have to potentially shave down the aluminum bit that's in here that the cable actually connects to. Because when I had these on the other bars and I had it tightened, it didn't want to. This was catching like a lot. So I did also get done. I saw this peeking out at me from back there. So I got the light put in. There was a little bit of chicanery involved in this. So I got a hole drilled in the top here. I didn't drill any more extra holes anywhere else because I didn't want to. But what I did do, I still have a little bit of tinkering left to do. So to get the light affixed in there and to a point where it's not going to rattle as the thing rolls down the road, there has to be, obviously there has to be some sort of pressure or clip or lip or something holding it in place. So I'm using the top screw. This bottom screw that holds the actual ring to the housing there sort of acts as one, and then out of the two mounting bolts for the bracket that it goes on to, one out of those two is threaded in backwards, and it sort of pushes up on the back of the light and keeps it moved forward. Hoping that does the job. I guess we will find out when I actually get it on the bike and roll it down the road. So there may be future tinkering involved in that. I think aside from polishing a little bit more, well, not polishing, but scratching a little bit more. Oh, I didn't show you the license plate. Check that out. I believe I still have the back of it to do. No biggie. I did. Here was another cool thing too. So in the process of sanding these down, or scratching these, you can see. I don't think that this is like copper or brass. It sure don't feel like copper, but it doesn't really. I think it is just galvanized. That maybe there was some oil or something. Maybe the galvanized coating that they put on the hot rolled steel had some kind of reaction, but nevertheless it turned out looking like copper or brass, whichever one you want to call it. So I clear coated it, and that's going to be, this is the speedometer clip or mount or bracket or whatever we're calling, and then this is for the light. So this one you won't necessarily be able to see as much, so I didn't really work on it that hard, but it is kind of still there. That was pretty neat. But yeah, so I still have some work to do on these. I'm going to pinstripe. It's going to be the brushed metal, but I'm going to pinstripe it, and the pinstripings will be painted. So, but then there's more cleanup and stuff to do all there. I still do have yet to sort of take apart the wheels, and I'm going to just, those rims are getting cleaned and painted black. I'm perfectly fine with that. But today is going to be frame day. Still have some tinkering left to do on this. I think, though, I'm just going to start it out by cleaning up a little bit more and patching my holes. I'll drag the welder out here, get that knocked out, and get those cleaned up, and get the sort of the bottom of the frame ready for paint. But then up top here, what's going to have to happen is I have actually... so this is that little threaded tank bung, and I initially thought it was going to go somewhere around that dot, really, that hole, but it may be a little further back. I was completely wrong. When I mocked the tank up on the frame, having the tank sitting that far forward, I had barely any steer at all, and that's no good. So I sort of went through and refigured the mocking of the tank, and it's going to land somewhere about there. I will have to figure out something to do for the seat, because this is these two holes here are for there's a little bracket that screws down into there, and then there's a hook on the underside of the seat, and it kind of sits up in there like that. I'll have to figure something out for that. I might I don't think I can move the seat back anymore. Honestly, it doesn't need to go back that far, because like I said, the bung's gonna be like right here. So I'll play with it a little bit and see. I don't know. We'll see. That's future me problems. Today we're doing at least the bottom of the frame. We're going to see where we can get on that. And ready, set, go. Got her down to, I got these all, I got both of these. There was one there, and there was one back here. It's not super pretty, but I still have to scratch all of this paint down, because the whole frame's getting repainted anyhow, so I can put a little bit more elbow grease into them when I get there. But I have I believe what's going to be the engine plates. There's some final like fitment stuff, and then I kind of really have to figure out exactly where they need to be sat. You know, the front one might wind up getting moved up a little bit more. Maybe the back one will get moved back a little bit more. I have to get the mounting dimensions or whatever for the engine placement for those. So there's still tinkering left to do, but that's where I'm at. I got the engine plates welded on there, and I just got the engine mocked up on there for now. It's got to come back off. I still got to put the tank bung or whatever it's called in there, and then I think I was looking at, once I got it to this point, I was kind of looking around back here. I think the frame it'd be served well to have like another cross member there for some rigidity, but then also too, there was a little like fender piece that went down in there that the fender kind of bolted to, and it was there in the original design. I may as well keep it in mind. You know, there's no reason to change that. So I kind of need to weld a little cross member in there anyhow. But yeah, I'll get the engine off there now, and I guess probably just try and knock out the cross support that we're going to put further back on the frame. Here we are, Sunday morning. I got the few hours to spend in the shop before I gotta go to sleep for work. So where we're currently sitting, I have engine plates, full weld. This is just a sort of like really it's a brace for the kind of the rear swing arm section of the bike to sort of stiffen this part of the frame up. However, there was a plate already here, and on that plate there was a little piece that shot up that actually helps the fender sit in there at a specific angle, and so I'm gonna I'll still need to do that. I'll need to just cut out a little straight sort of rectangle and put a bend in it, and all welded on to the bottom plate. I have these, if you recall, those areas of the frame were kind of beat up. I won't necessarily say I had to cut into the frame to get all of the stuff in that section off, but that's just wound up. That's what happened, is what it is. That's just what it is. So I got some relatively thick material, tubing from work, and just zipped it down the middle and made sort of some sleeves, some half sleeves or something, hoping that strengthens it up a little bit. I'm not really thinking this is going to have like a crazy amount of get up and go. It's just it's a Predator 212, so there's some performance there as far as little engines go, but it's not crazy. But I got this you can't really see with the light as it is now, but you'll see it again later, so I still got to paint it and stuff. So, but just a little bracket for the tank to sit on, for it to wedge on, using the little rubber bushings. And then back here I got the tank bung, the threaded tank bung, so it can. I mean that's on there. That ain't going nowheres. If that's coming off, I think you probably got bigger problems. Really, aside from the little fender bracket, whatever. So what's happening with this is I'm gonna have to chop this. This is the little mounting bracket for the brake caliper, and the clutch and the drive's on this side of that engine, so I need the chain, the rear drive sprocket, or the final drive, I guess, on this side. Currently, as the frame, I guess, is oriented, as the brakes go on this side and the drive was on the other side. So I'll just have to chop this and either make a new one or just weld that piece back on. It's already got the right holes or whatever. I'll just have to flip it around. Those two things. I still would like to at least make that look a little bit better. I don't necessarily think I need to cut it off or anything like that, but if I could hammer on it and get it a little bit straighter and make it look a little better. And then of course the spring, but that can be a later add. That's no problem. Today, I think I'll probably mess with that rear fender brace at the very least. I don't know if I'll get to welding anything, but I'll at least get it made. Today after work, decided to come out in the garage and tinker around a little bit more with the little mini bike. I feel like I've made pretty good progress for this video. So today, just to sort of cap it out, what I've decided to do is I'm going to mess with the handlebars, because there's kind of been a change in plans on the handlebars. So I got it all gussied up, because I said I was going to work on the little bracket here for the rear fender. So that was kind of a part of why everything got mocked up there. But then once I made it to the point of getting the seat on, I realized that I still needed to print a little 3D catcher. There's a part that shoots out, a little finger that shoots out on the bottom side of that seat. So I got sidetracked on that. This is how far I made it on that little plate for the fender. It's gonna go, get it in there. There we go. It's gonna go something like that. There's still some fine tuning to do on that. But like as stated for today, what I'm gonna work on is the handlebars, because originally I had ordered a set of handlebars that I thought was going to fit this kind of setup, because this is what the old handlebars mounted onto. They kind of went down sort of like your crotch rocket handlebars, right? I didn't want to have to drill into the risers, because at the time I thought that I didn't have any risers, but then I remembered that I had the risers off of that little four-wheeler. Really what did it was, so at this point I had ordered those handlebars, like, I don't know, I'm going to say close to a month ago, and I guess apparently they got lost or stolen or whatever, and nobody decided to tell me. So I told them to give my money back, and then I started thinking about, well, what am I going to do with these handlebars? Am I going to switch it up at all, or am I just going to look for sort of the same set but from a different seller. Maybe they can get here a little quicker. And what I decided was, as stated, I remembered that I had the risers from that four-wheeler, and so I went and cannibalized. If you remember, these are the bars that I had on that other chopper that I was doing, the Street Fighter, I was calling it. So I think I'm going to use these, and I'll just drill the risers in. I feel like these will be pretty good on here, and I don't think it's going to take very long to do that, you know. So yeah, check those out. I don't think that looks too bad. There's still, of course, fine tuning. You know, there's always a little bit of fine tuning, it seems, but I think that'll be, yeah, I think that'll be just fine. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. You know, no long, rambly, drawn out ending. Thanks everybody for watching. Catch you in the next one. So, I know I said that I was done for the video. And I was. I promise I was. Okay, I promise. But there's been a little bit of a development, and I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go with this one. So them handlebars came in the mail, and they're way cooler than I thought they were gonna be. To be honest with you, I like the look of them just by themselves, but on the bike, I think they fit the sort of the feel of the bike a lot better than those other bars did. So that's I think that's what we're gonna go with. I like them a lot better. All right, guys, for realsies this time. Later.